Stacey Dooley, the host for this evening, who is a journalist and presenter. Welcome, Stacey. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You've been very vocal investigating and speaking out against the abuse and exploitation of women and children. Can you tell us about some of the causes you've been involved with?
Sure, yeah. No, I think I am against exploitation full stop. You know, I don't feel comfy when I visit sort of lots of places around the world and there's things that are so massively unfair, and it's quite obvious. But I think, unfortunately, in circumstances like that, it does tend to be that the women and children are naturally just in the thick of it a lot worse. I don't know why that is, but yeah, I've been really lucky. I've been involved in loads of different causes. I've worked with lots of different NGOs in Africa and Asia. Amazing people, really cool folk. I've worked with lots of different charities. Save the Children have been really helpful. The UN, got pally with a couple of them. Yeah, I've fundraised a bit, dabbled. I've had a good couple of years.
Brilliant. And how did you first become aware of the violence against women and girls in the DRC?
The DRC, for me, became part of my life when I visited last year. So I took a trip out there to the Congo. And, you know, of course, you're warned, aren't you? Oh, it's a bit hairy out there, expect to see this, expect to see that. I think until you get there and you have a chat with these girls, you can't really ever prepare yourself. And I think, you know, I was so lucky. I met the most amazing girls, really, really beautiful women. Yeah, and then just from then on, sort of stayed in contact with them and kind of went from there, really.
Okay, great. And do you think that more can be done, particularly through media coverage and investigative journalism, to bring this crisis to the attention of the wider world?
I think, of course, always more can be done, can't it? I think as a lady working in the media, you know, I'm aware of the responsibility that we have to sort of use that airtime you get quite efficiently. So yeah, there's always more that can be done, but you know, do's like this, nights like this that are very glam and very fun and very high energy, you know, it's nice to have a more serious side to it and a more full-on kind of highbrow topic, because I think that brings more people that aren't necessarily massively in the know sort of about DRC into that kind of circle, and they think, oh, hang on a minute, so it's raising awareness.
And what connection responsibilities do we as consumers of electronics have with the ongoing violence in the Congo? Do you think there are ways consumers can become active to help put an end to the violence?
I think something I've definitely learned over the past couple of years is how powerful we are as consumers. I think that's something that struck quite early on, really, and I think the main thing as consumers we need to do is actually raise awareness, make sure people know that there's this kind of carry on over electronics, because I don't think if you asked loads of girls on Oxford Street, what's the crack, what do you think goes on in the DRC, and do you think your electronics at home have an effect on women? And I think they'd go, ugh. So I think as consumers, the first thing we have to get sorted is to make sure everyone knows. And then as a consumer, use your power, use your voice to say, you know what, we're not up for that, we care. Because when consumers kick off, that's when the big top dogs have to act, because they don't want to lose their consumers.
And you're just a regular person who's found a platform to speak out about important global issues. What message would you give to others who want to do the same regarding what's going on in the DRC?
Yeah. No, I am. I'm incredibly lucky, and I am just a super normal girl who got a little bit lucky. Of course it helps having a big whacking camera follow you around and a big hefty cameraman. You know, people have got to listen to you, haven't they? That's good, dumb. But I think, you know, I haven't always had me documentaries. You know, I wasn't given documentaries just because, you know, when I came home from my first trip of travelling, I kicked off a little bit. I kind of told all my girls at home what was going on. I did fundraising. I tried to raise awareness. Went and hung out with Paxman on Newsnight and said me bit, and gradually I think, you know, it's quite easy to not do things, isn't it, because it's a little bit tricky or it's a little bit hard or it won't make a difference, X, Y, Z. But I think, you know, if you feel passionately and you think it's not on, I think it's you as a woman, you have to stand up and go, right, yeah, and shout until people listen. Rant.
And I know obviously you've travelled to Congo, but what message would you like to give to women in the Congo now? If they're, you know, imagine that they're watching this now, what would you say to them?
I think it's tricky, isn't it? When I travel, I try and let them know that I'm not there to judge. Like, I'm totally not there for that. I'm there to listen. So I think I would say to all the girls, because all the Congolese girls seem to be beautiful as well, so I'd say, hey, beautiful girls. I'm not here to judge you or come to any kind of conclusion. I'm here to listen to what you've got to say. Your fellow women, without sounding really cringy, and we support you completely. Yeah, and it's important that we get your stories out there so that this kind of carry-on isn't happening in years to come. Sounds very Miss World, doesn't it? But yeah, no, that's what I think.
I'm sure you'd make an amazing Miss World.
Yeah, I don't know. Couple of spots on the go. Not great upper arms. But no, it's a great night. I'm so thrilled to be part of it. Awesome vibe, really nice atmosphere, and it's all for such an amazing cause. I just think it's spot on.
We're very happy to have you here tonight, so thank you very much, Stacey
Pleasure.
Dooley.